But y'all, let's do this review really quickly, okay? I want to say I'm not really going to get into full detail about this movie just because like I don't want to like go in depth with like everything about this movie, you know what I mean? There may be some spoilers in here, so I am going to put the warning regardless if there are or not, just in case something slips out. But this isn't going to be like an in-depth like review on like how the movie goes and everything. If you just saw that light flash in my room, I had my TV on. I'm sorry. I'm watching Family Guy Halloween specials, okay? Let's get started. The Nun, okay? So The Nun 2 obviously takes place like time after the first movie, because in this one, well, if you guys remember the ending of the first Nun, when Sister Irene like supposedly kills the nun, but then it turns out she possessed what's his name, Maurice. He got possessed by the nun, and so that's how it ended. All we know is that he got possessed by the nun, so kind of gave a little hint that either there was gonna be another movie, or just the way the nun ended, clearly he was that person that that Ed and Lorraine Warren performed an exorcism on. And we basically got an explanation as to what happened with Lorraine, and we could have just ended it there. Now, before I get into any little details about this movie, I'm just gonna go ahead and say my opinions on whether or not I thought this movie was better, worse, or somewhere in between. For me personally, I kind of saw this movie about the same as the first one. You know what I mean? I feel like it's at that level. Like, I feel like this one didn't really like improve, nor did it like, you know, nor was it worse than the first Nun. You know what I mean? Frankly, I'm gonna be honest, and a lot of you are gonna hate me for this. I didn't mind the first Nun movie. I actually really liked it. So, for me to hear that the Nun was gonna have another movie, I was kind of like, why? But at the same time, like, okay, sure, I'm gonna watch it for sure, and I did. And it honestly, I just feel like if people who haven't seen this one yet, the second one, I feel like if you didn't like the first one, I don't feel you're gonna like the second one. And if you liked the first one, I think you'll probably like the second one as well. So my level with it, I didn't think it improved from the first one. A lot of people did think that it did, so that's their opinion. In my personal opinion, I just think if you didn't care for the first Nun movie, or you hated the first Nun movie, I don't think you'll probably like this one, just because that's where I feel like it's at with like the level of like whether it improved or not. So, but in my opinion, because I said I liked the first Nun movie, I actually liked this one. I didn't mind it. It wasn't my favorite movie that released this year, but it was definitely like a good movie, and I was entertained, for most of it. And I mean, this one just kind of follows the fact that like Maurice is like still possessed by the nun, and we even have returning Teza Farmiga as Irene. The difference with this one on, well, at least on IMDb, is that in this one, in the casting, she's under the name Irene, whereas in the first Nun movie on IMDb, it is listed as Sister Irene. So that is one thing I will say, is that in the first Nun movie, I believe Sister Irene was like a nun in training, like she was like training to be a nun, or like she was like going through that process of being a nun. I'm pretty sure. And then in this one, she's like officially there, like she's her nun self. Good for her, you know what I mean? So we got the return of her as well. Obviously Maurice, we got him back as well. We also got I don't think she was in the first movie, so I think she was new. But I am a big fan of this actress, which is Storm Reed. I think that's how you say her name. Played Deborah. Yeah, I really liked her, and I really I really liked Storm, because she's been in a lot of things that I've seen lately. Like, I know she was in The Last of Us, which I enjoyed, and I'm pretty sure she was the girl from Missing, and a couple other things that I know I've seen her in. She's just such a talented like teen actor. Like, she gives off that perfect like teen energy in all the movies that she's been in and everything she's in. So I was a little surprised when she was in this movie. I was like, huh, did not expect that one. but she was amazing. I loved her in it. We also have this new character called Sophie, which is basically this like girl who's at this boarding school, which is basically where the movie takes place. Is that this one is now taking place in a boarding school, and personally, I just think like this movie, although I like that it changed the whole like atmosphere, because in the first Nun movie, I think what I didn't like about the first Nun was the atmosphere as to like location wise. Like they were in this like abandoned like, what was it, like a cathedral or like a church or something. Like most of the time that's where they were. And this one, I like that it was like a boarding school. It was something new. It was in the city. Like I like that feeling of like, I don't know why, like I kind of like that feeling of like horror movies where they take place like in like a very like public area. You know what I mean? Like most horror movies, like for example, like the Conjuring universe is known for doing their movies where like it takes place in the middle of nowhere. Like, you know, obviously the first Conjuring movie, it was a house in the countryside. I believe Annabelle Creation was the same way, and then the Nun was also like that. So it's like I like when they like put them in like an area where like there's clearly neighbors and all that stuff, kind of similar to like the Conjuring 2, where that one took place in a regular neighborhood, you know. So I kind of like that, and I like that they did change that. So I will say that was one of the things that they did improve on from the first movie. And I also really like enjoyed all the like jump scares. Like I love a good jump scare, especially when it literally gets me out of nowhere. Like most times you can basically suspect a jump scare coming. For the Nun 2, most parts I didn't. So I just thought that was really like a really cool thing uh that they nailed, was all the jump scares. I really do appreciate every single time I got scared. And this one too, one thing, the last thing that I'll probably say, because like I said, I didn't want to get into this movie that much, but like, another thing I will say that kind of like weirded me out was that this movie was basically Maurice's like realization that he's being possessed by the nun. Like, I assumed he kind of knew, but at the same time, like, okay, well, he knows, you know. I think that was a really interesting thing that they threw in there, that I was like, I would have assumed that he knew that, but at the same time, I guess he didn't. So, you know, that's something to throw in there. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy my little review, my opinions, and all that stuff, go ahead and leave a like. Make sure to subscribe, and also leave in the comments like anything you guys felt with the Nun movie. Did you guys personally think it was worse? Was it better? Do you still not care for the Nun? Like, I don't know. Like, let me know anything in the comments. And any movies that you guys want me to review, please let me know in the comments as well. And I will see you guys all next time. Bye.